A strange turn of events, picking up where we left off. The walls themselves began to dance and sway, the waves of an ocean made from precious stones, caught in its current, currently lost in ores, I recall. Every crack in its surface lined with gems and crystals, each section with its own ebb and flow, transitioning from one to the other, lost in its wonder. Why am I so taken by this? This place is incredible, I uttered softly to myself as I took my eyes around its entirety. Everything about it simply grand, like a theatrical that put on an outstanding show. Every sparkling detail as I came entering the hall through their passage. They had a life of their own. The walls' columns peaked at their highest and gradually widened, creating the base. I tipped my gaze in the direction of Mr. Diamante, head getting lighter as I took the grandiosity of it all. The entrance of the hall, I couldn't help but see him in a different light. Everything seemed to slow to a halt, my eyes fixed on him. With every footstep he took getting heavier and heavier, the ground started to shake and everything whooped. With him drawing further and further away from me, and closer to the mahoosive doors at the end of the hall, a piercing light from the other side beamed through and grew blindingly bright. It threw me off. It was bright enough to trigger a reaction of shock in me, reminding me of the flash I saw when I was swallowed by the clouds. My hearing was shot, more and more muffled, as if I were drowning, sinking into my mind. I could still faintly hear footsteps. For a brief moment I flashed back to the image of me dangling from the sky. I was so... "Mr. Miller," a calm voice calling out to me, faintly. "Mr. Miller!" Fumbling to gain my senses back. Yes. Yes. Mr. Diamante mentioned calmly. "I trust everything is okay. Please. This way." "Okay, yes, of course." I have to remember. I'm in this man's house. I need to maintain myself, as hard as that may be. Here is a man who is clearly more than well off, judging from the entrance alone. The grandeur of its majesty means the builder wants you to know it. And yet he stopped in the middle of the rain to not only help me but invite me into his house. It goes without saying that is a kindness most strangers wouldn't be afforded even on a good day, especially by the likes of people who live like this man, Enrique Diamante. Curious character. I question the validity of everything happening to me right now. Surely it's a dream. Still, I don't want to seem rude. Putting myself together as quickly as I can, I followed him through the doors, and once again, another world opened up. With every whip of cracking wood, as the flames in the fireplace burned with intensity to welcome me, before me again, they burst open, with springs of lit embers streaming from every source. Candle fixtures being dotted throughout the whole room, illuminating it ever so gracefully. Lit candles all across the room placed on masterfully crafted candelabras. Above those was the grandest of grandfather clocks hanging in balance with perfect harmony, alongside the eccentric patterns littered across the entire wooden finish of the wall. Embedded into the walls were rows and rows of shelves that have been carefully and thoughtfully decorated with a great number of books. 100, 2, 3, 4. There are too many to count in a few short glances. Another soft warm glow was emanating from a large crystal chandelier above. A lit pendulum of glazed snowflakes, ever present, never falling. I couldn't say what species, but there were tropical plants too, their beautiful color painted on, varying colors from stem to stem. Like a well-kept garden of escape, the air was pleasant and welcoming. Large landscape paintings of various topics and themes decorated the view further. The one on the left of the room looks like a very arduous journey across stormy seas, a tempest in the night that takes the ship in the foreground hostage. and tossing it around on a whim. A locomotive, expertly painted with spokes of an unlikely orange as though they had been fashioned from bronze, and a dynamic energy taking it off the canvas, accompanied by a painting of what appears to be a celebration of hot air balloons as you enter the room, as well as many portraits forming a family tree. Perhaps there's more to it. I started exploring an explosion of color. Silky smooth purples, olive greens, bright tender yellows, iron-rich reds painted by the fruits in the basket on the table. The table of fruits sat on an exquisite and tasteful coffee table set piece. As it were, they appeared, well, untouched. At the risk of me drooling, I just stared at them for a bit. The furniture all around, absolutely inviting, so comfortable. I took my eyes from corner to corner, noticing the splendid details and how not a beat seemed to have been missed. In spite of this, I couldn't help but notice something was slightly amiss. I caught the presence of someone behind the door, standing, poised on the other side. That must have been why the door seemed to have opened by itself, I whispered to myself as I came to the realization of this man. Behind the doors was someone to open the doors. Very interesting if you ask me.